Kikuyus have become hyenas. Those are statements spoken by Kenyan CS Aden Duale, that Kikuyus have become hyenas. Now, those statements go against national unity and they promote ethnic discrimination. Now, what is the role of National Cohesion and Integration Commission? Its role is to promote national unity and to ensure that no ethnicity is profiled or discriminated against. So, what is NCIC, National Integration and Cohesion Commission? I think that's the name. What is its role? Its role is to summon Aden Duale to appear before it, to explain why he has called Kikuyus hyenas. Now, has this body summoned Aden Duale? Yes. Has Aden Duale said that he's going to appear before it? No. In fact, he has said he cannot appear before it. Now, does he have the immunity of not appearing before this board? No. Any citizen in this country, apart from the president, who has absolute immunity from criminal proceedings, CS Aden Duale must appear before NCIC. Now, is he willing to appear? No. Now, can NCIC go for him? No. Why? It is a toothless dog. And that is my point of this video. I'm making this video to help you understand that these bodies that you see created by the government, all of them are useless. They work when it is an inferior person doing something. But when an influential political figure does something, they fear. Why do they fear? Because there is a simple reason, that justice is bought. There is no justice in this country for people who have no money. Justice is only for people who have money. Now, if it is a normal Kikuyu who said that Somalis have become hyenas, right now you will be handcuffed. Right now you will be handcuffed after you defy the summons of NCIC. I am telling you, if you call lawyers hyenas in a public forum and you are just a normal person, you will be arrested and you will be charged. You know, this brings me to a certain guy who said that Kikuyus have become what and you remember that Luo guy? I think he was called Adek or what? I don't remember his name. He spoke against the Kikuyu community and first of all, he lost his job. Lost his job. That's the first thing that happened. Lost his job because the company did not want to be associated with those remarks against Kikuyus. That's number one. Number two, he was arrested. And number three, he was fined. I hear he was fined some money. Okay? So you see, a person who is poor, when he says that Kikuyus are this and that, or Luyas are this and that, or Kambas are this and that, first of all, you will lose your job because your company does not want to associate with you. Number two, you will be arrested. Number three, you will be fined. Right? The NCIC will become aggressive against you because you don't have money or you are not influential. But what if you are influential, like CS Aden Duale? Nothing will happen. And does it mean that he has immunity? No. Only the president has immunity. So you begin to understand that there is selective justice in this country. The poor are the people who are targeted. The rich cannot be targeted. And by the way, some people can say that CS Aden Duale did not say that. He used a figurative Somali proverb. I think that is what they said. But I have read exactly what he said. I think, let me read verbatim. Let me Google first. Just give me a minute. Let me Google what he said. And I want to translate it directly, how he said it. Okay? Now, this is what he said. Okay? This is what he said. And I want to quote it exactly like Aden Duale said. A hyena that keeps hunting, it becomes very difficult for it to stop. Kikuyus have said that nobody else will live well in Kenya except them. They have become the hyena who has been hunting but has become hard to stop. They have become hyenas. They have said that Kenya is ours and nobody else will live in Kenya. Even the likes of Moses Wetangula. You see, those are the statements. Although they say that it is a proverb, I cannot really verify if it is a proverb in the Somali language. But again, the statements that follow, they insist that Kikuyus have become like hyenas and they don't want anybody to live in Kenya like them. Now, I don't want to dispute this because we all know that Kikuyus have, there's a lot of inequality in this country, and we can actually see that there's a lot of development in central Kenya because they have had more presidents than us. They have had Kenyatta, they have had Kibaki, they have had Uhuru Kenyatta, and they have had influential political figures who have influenced development to go into their area. So we can say that there have been a lot of inequalities, that is proven, and we can establish that they have gotten more development than other Kenyans. So I don't want to go into the issue of inequalities because that can actually be proven that Kikuyus have gotten a lot of development. That's actually very true. Now, what CS Aden Duale said is that truth, but again, he said it in a way to discriminate against the Kikuyu community. Okay? And that is why we have bodies like NCIC to make sure that the statements that you provide are accurate, first of all, and number two, they promote national unity, and number three, that they don't cause discrimination or don't cause hatred among people, right? But the statement of Aden Duale is actually very irritating, but he said it in Somali. So he did not say it in Kiswahili. In Kiswahili is actually very irritating. And in English, it's very irritating because it says in his loud voice, you know his loud voice, it means they have become hyenas. They don't want anybody to live in this country. They only want to benefit. That's how it comes out in English. That is actually very inflammatory. And these statements have triggered Central Kenya leaders. The Central Kenya leaders have come out and they have said that CS Aden Duale must apologize. Aden Duale must apologize for his statements. Now, what has Aden Duale said? I will not apologize by saying that you have become hyenas. You see, he's insisting that he will not apologize. He's saying that he cannot appear before NCIC, and he has said that you can do whatever you want. Now, what does that mean? That is contempt of NCIC. Because when NCIC summons you, you are supposed to appear. And number two, when you say those statements, you are supposed to apologize. Now, my point in this video is not Aden Duale. And my point in this video is not Kikuyu community or the inequalities that have existed in this country. My point in this video is this, that we have a lot of bodies being created by the government, but these bodies only target the poor. These bodies only target people who are not influential. If you have no money to buy justice, you will be targeted. If you have no networks or influence to suppress these bodies, they will come for you. And this is what I want any common Kenyan to learn. Any common poor Kenyan. You know, we are poor Kenyans. I am a poor Kenyan. Okay? You see, if people like Atwoli can say that, where will Sifuna get 10 billion to campaign? Where will I get even 2 million? Even just 2 million, where will I get it to campaign? Okay? And so some of us who cannot afford 10 billion or 2 million or even 5 million to campaign, we are poor Kenyans. And if you are a poor Kenyan like me, you have to be very careful with your statements. Because if you say anything stupid and you are poor and you have no connections to the president and you have no proper networks in this country, you are going to be targeted, and you will lose your job. You can even lose your source of income. And by the way, you can lose even your life. For example, you see that case of Eliud Lagat and Albert Ojwang. Albert Ojwang was a poor person. This was a high school teacher. Teachers are poor. We are poor people. Nurses are poor. These government civil servants who are low-tier civil servants, these are just poor people. Now, a person like Albert Ojwang provides some statements, which I believe, not that I'm sure, but I believe they were true. Why? Because they triggered somebody in power. Now, the statement said that Eliud Lagat or maybe some people in government have gotten some money illegally from this country and then they are acquiring properties abroad. Okay? Now, he's speaking this not in a defamatory way, but again, he's triggering influential figures. What happens? The DCIs are asked, go for this person, and then they take him and then they lock him up. Within minutes, he's dead. You are dead. If you are poor, justice works that way. You can die within minutes. But let's say that it's a person like Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi. Let's assume that it is Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi who said that some figures in government have gotten money from this country and they have bought properties abroad. and then they are continuing to steal more money to invest in offshore accounts and buying more properties abroad, what would happen to Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi? Nothing. Why? Because he's connected to power, he has money, and he can buy justice. Nothing will happen to him. But imagine me seated here, then I talk something against the deputy president. DCIs will be behind me, right here. DCIs will be here and they will be asked, arrest that guy, bring him here, and do whatever you can to him. And within 2-3 days, I will have disappeared. Some of you will ask, where did you go? I have disappeared. Why? Because I am poor. So these bodies that are created by the quasi-judicial, I think we call them the quasi-judicial bodies, they work against the poor. Okay? Bodies like IPOA, bodies like the Auctioneers Licensing Board, bodies like NCIC, these bodies, they are created to work against the poor. And then they have been created in such a way to reward the cronies and the sycophants of these politicians. You see, when a politician goes to power, he says that I will appoint you in this board, I will appoint you here, I will appoint you here. And so if we have many, many small quasi-judicial bodies, you know, it is good for the people in power to appoint the people who supported them. That is why even in these judges are appointed by the president, I think. Judges are appointed by the people in power. And so the ruling class has a power over the judiciary. They usually say that we have 3 arms of government. We have parliament, we have judiciary, and we have the executive. And then they say that these 3 arms of government are independent. Hey, what you don't know is that 2 arms of government are under 1 arm of government, and that is the executive. The executive has a lot of power. In reality, I'm not saying that in theory, because when you read textbooks, they will tell you that these 3 bodies are independent. They are not independent. The executive oversees these 3. In reality now, the executive, the president, has power to tell a judge do this and that in secret, and the judge will do it. So you find that in this country, the ruling class can evade justice, just like Aden Duale. Aden Duale can tell a body appointed by the government that I am not coming there, and he will not come. And I'm assuring you that Aden Duale will not go. And I have confirmed from the statements that those statements that he said, they go against national unity and they promote ethnic discrimination. But NCIC has said that we have launched an inquiry. Which inquiry? Which inquiry? First of all, you have to establish, is there such a proverb in the Somali community? Yes. And if it is there, why insist that they have become hyenas? Of course, silently, in silent tones, by the way, let me say it, in silent tones, we know that Kikuyus have unfairly gotten a lot of wealth. That is true, by the way. The truth of the matter, because they get a lot of money, unfair development. That is true. You know, let's not talk about it, because that is true. But again, if it is spoken in public, in the manner that Aden Duale spoke about it, now our torch illuminates the NCIC. What is your role? And if they cannot execute their role well, then what is the importance of having such a body? What is the importance? Like, for example, I ask myself, what is the importance of all these bodies that we have? These bodies are useless, and they have been created to reward the sycophants of these politicians and to oppress the poor. That is why when you are poor, they come for you. But when you are rich, they don't go for you. Now, what do we learn from all this? What we get from all this is that in this country, if you are poor, just follow the law. Just follow the law that has been established. You know, these laws are made by the rich to oppress the poor. That is how it is. If you are poor, just follow the law. Because if you go against the law, you will be targeted. Now, if you are poor, don't do something that will trigger these bodies to summon you. Because if they summon you, you must appear before it. And what if you say that you cannot appear before that board, and you are a poor person like me? A poor person like me. NCIC summons me, and I say that I cannot appear before it. You know, they will ask the DPP to come and arrest me. The DPP will just come. You know, those are inflammatory statements. The DPP will come and I will be arrested and I will be presented before that board and I will be fined. And there will be a jail term, by the way, for a poor person like me. Okay? What about Aden Duale? Nothing. Nothing will happen. What about if it is Gachagua who said that? Nothing will happen. You have seen fellow politicians saying that, Gachagua, you say this and that. Gachagua, you have said this and that. But nothing is happening to Gachagua because Gachagua is a billionaire. It is only Uhuru who tried to threaten Gachagua. And Gachagua actually is among the people who tried to get him out of power. And he succeeded, by the way. That is the power that Gachagua has. And so people in the ruling class have to be afraid. They can only make noise about Gachagua. Hey, Gachagua, you said this. Gachagua, you said that. Gachagua, you said this. But when it comes to arresting Gachagua right now, it's very difficult. Because Gachagua can actually work very hard to ensure that you are out of power. So that becomes very difficult. And you know, arresting a person like Aden Duale is also very difficult. Why? Because Somalis actually funded this government. What you don't know. Somalis contributed a lot to this government in terms of funding it and in terms of running it. You have seen the DPP, I think, is a Somali, right? The CS for Defense is a Somali. The security sector is held by the Somalis. And so, can the security sector held by the Somalis arrest Aden Duale? They cannot. Why? We funded this government and we run the security. So if you are an influential figure and you have demonstrated that you have networks and you can run this government, nothing will happen to you. Okay? But if you are poor, please, just follow the law. Just follow the law and speak about normal things. You see, when we create content, some of us, we just speak about relationships. We speak about the oppressions that we have gone through. We speak about very normal things. You know, we cannot attack the president and say he has stolen this, he has stolen that, because that one now, it will be considered defamatory. And I will be in jail if I say that. You see, if I start saying that Kikuyus are like this and that, and then I start issuing defamatory statements, I'll be arrested immediately. So the only thing I can only do to Kikuyus maybe is to make fun of they call men female names, like for example Gideon Wamboi, Kelvin Wanjiru. You see, those are the things you can make fun of because NCIC cannot come for you when you do that. And you can make fun maybe of Kambas. We know Kambas love, you know what Kambas love, You can only make fun of that. NCIC cannot come for you. Or you say that maybe lawyers love eating, lawyers are watchmen, lawyers are maids. You know, those are the things you can talk about. NCIC cannot come for you. But if you issue defamatory statements and you are poor, NCIC will come for you. So, my friends, you should understand the differences between the rich and the poor. The laws are made by the rich to oppress the poor. These quasi-judicial bodies are made by the rich to oppress the poor. The criminal justice system is created by the rich to oppress the poor. That is why when you go to a police station and somebody has wronged you, and you want that person to be arrested, they can't be arrested unless you fund the police officers. We have all gone to police stations. You must have money to give them for fuel, and you have to bribe them for them to go and arrest that person. But if you just go to a police station like this, go and arrest this person, he has made a mistake. No. So we can see the criminal justice system is made by the rich or people who have money to oppress those who don't have. So the crime in this country is to have no money. If you have no money, you are automatically a criminal. But if you have money and you are connected and you know people in power, it is very difficult for you to be apprehended. So in this country, we have selective justice. Thank you for listening to me. This is Giddy Akali, and we shall meet again in another video. Peace.